Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's adventure, I'm heading out onto Lewey Lake, staying here at this campground. So let's go check out this lake. Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Lewey Lake, and look at the mountains that surround this lake. We got some wind today, we got some chop, so I'm bouncing pretty good here, but there's mountains almost all the way around this lake. So yeah, this is Lewey Lake, and I'm quite impressed here. I really like this. This has got some mountains almost all the way around it. Snowy Mountain is one of these mountains. I think it's back this way a little bit. And I got to maintain the kayak here, nose in the wind. Got some good breeze here. Anyways, Lewey Lake is along Route 30, 12 miles south of Indian Lake and 12 miles north of Lake Pleasant. There's a DEC Campground here that has 206 sites, and yeah, I've never been here before. I've never paddled Lewey Lake. And I can't remember if I've ever stayed at this campground or not. If I have, it's been so many years ago that I don't remember. But yeah, this is a nice lake. I really like this lake. The surrounding with mountains and everything. But the name Lewey Lake had me kind of curious on whether or not, where'd that name come from? And after digging around, I found that there was a gentleman. I'm going backwards here. Better paddle forward. I found that there was a gentleman named Louis Seymour, or French Louis, they called him, that he ended up, he was a hermit that lived in this area, and he worked up in the Indian Lake logging and eventually made his home here on Lewey Lake. And I can see why. Imagine waking up to all these mountains around you, you know, you have this water right here. Yeah, Louis built his first, well, camp, home, and lived by trapping and selling his furs. And he kind of worked to distance himself from people. Didn't like, he wasn't one of those that hated other people. From all accounts, that he was very well liked and he liked other people. He just liked being by himself, which, you know, there's a saying that you know, if you go camping by yourself, it's addicting, because once you get out there and find that solitude and you're not dealing with people, it's wonderful. And I'm sure that's what French Louis found when he came here, you know. But he still went into town to sell his furs and get supplies, but he was always self-sufficient. And you know, I did read that he was the kids in Speculator's not too far from here. He would go into Speculator a couple times a year to sell his furs, but the children there all knew him, and when he would come into town, they would all get excited because he would make candy and give them to the kids when he came into town, and they all got excited over that. But French Louis was the one that apparently first made his home here. fell ill with kidney disease in the early 1900s. He ended up dying in 1915, and nobody really knew exactly how old he was, but he was so well respected in this area that businesses and schools closed for his funeral. The burial was paid for by the town, which is in, I believe it's in Speculator, that they have he has his burial site is in Speculator. And so I'm staying here at Lewey Lake Campground, and I'll have a review out on that later. But yeah, I have not been able to talk to the caretaker here. I tried to speak with him earlier, but he kind of brushed me off and didn't really want to talk, I guess. But so I don't know exactly if he is seeing less people, more people, or about the same. I did drive through the campground before I came in here to paddle, and there are a lot of empty campsites. There's 206 campsites here. At least a third are empty, and so I don't know if that's a usual thing for Lewey Lake this time of year. I mean, this is early August, and it is prime camping season. The weather has been great. So, you know, I just came from a campsite up in Tupper Lake. Great 4 days up there. Before that, I was at Bowman and Fillmore Glen, and we had great weather for that. So yeah, but I'm not sure if business is down or up here at Lewey Lake. If I do get a chance to talk to the caretaker before I leave, I will add it in this area. But yeah, I don't know how business is, but just driving around, you know, 206 sites here, I would think that the vast majority of them would be full, but they're not. There's a lot of empty sites. I drove the entire campground, and there's a lot of empty sites. I don't know if I would dare say half of them are empty, but a good third are empty. So, but this is Lewey Lake, and it is, when I left the truck said 86 degrees. And it is freaking humid. I'm glad there's kind of a breeze. That's because it's going to take the biting flies away from me, and it keeps you kind of cool, the breeze. But it also makes for some wake out here, and on a body of water that I've never traveled on before. And with the wake, I just kind of get a little nervous about rocks or stumps underneath the surface. So but I don't think Lewey Lake has a lot, because I do see that there's it looks like there's some camps or houses on the end right over here, and there's boats. So I would think if there's anything sticking up in the water that would affect me on a kayak, they would have buoys, because they wouldn't want people to freaking jam their motors up on it. But anyways, I'm gonna paddle around here and see what I can see. But I still say, oh, black cloud coming in. I still say this is a spectacular lake to paddle, because just the mountains all around it. I'm going to, let me just show this again. The mountains, there's the black cloud, all around this lake. Absolutely spectacular. I can see bottom, so absolutely spectacular. But I'm going to go paddle around, see what I can see. Alright folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember, folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.